All right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, Jeff Nadu, getting ready for another weekend of college football and the NFL kicking off. Jeff, a lot going on. How you doing, man?
Great. How are you, Clip?
Good. Got some odd Friday night football for your Eagles. We'll talk about that and tonight's game. Let's start with East Carolina though, Jeff, because line movement that we don't see a lot. Old Dominion opens up on Sunday as a 2.5 point favorite. 48 hours later, it's East Carolina minus 2.5, and the total went up like almost a touchdown. So I guess somebody with money out there likes East Carolina and likes East Carolina's offense to put up some points. Again, it was Norfolk State last week. We didn't learn a ton. We did learn that it looks a lot different than it did a year ago offensively for the Pirates. But just your thoughts on the game and that line movement. That's got to be a decent sign for ECU, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe just feeling like ECU's quarterback situation is way better than we thought. I mean, last year it was pitiful. That said, I mean, you look at the fact they scored 42 points, had 506 yards, and Jay Garcia threw three interceptions. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you're pretty happy with where they were. I took an under there last week, and I was a little concerned. I said, "Oh no, I think ECU might put up 55 here," but luckily they kind of called the dogs off. But yeah, I mean, you got to quickly shift your attention here, and now you're playing a Division I team. You're not playing an FCS team, which I actually heard Mike Houston say, this week about the game. So yeah, I don't know that I would have seen a move like this, but yeah, somebody I think or people are just buying into the fact that ECU's quarterback is better than we maybe thought.
Tailed you on that under last week, Jeff, and I was counting my lucky stars. There could have been a lot more points in that game, but I will take that win. So I know you will as well.
Yeah.
Let's stick with college now and hit a couple of games with you. Michigan, Texas. Early in the year, teams get their ranking and a lot of preseason pub on what happened a year ago. And Michigan, of course, is top 10 and everything. They lose a ton, but the spread to see them this big of dogs at home in the big house really shows you what people think of what they lost and also what people think of Texas this year. Are you buying in on that big number? What it was like 7.5 last time I saw it. I don't know what it is now. But how about the Longhorns going to the big house on Saturday?
Yeah, I think if you're betting Texas at this hour, you're probably someone that should find another hobby. It probably isn't for you. You could have got way better numbers, kind of foreshadowing. You have to foreshadow in sports betting. That's how it all is. And if you don't, you're gonna bet a lot of bad numbers. You're gonna lose. Um, yeah, I think this is too high. I mean, we might even see it go to 8. I think 7.5 is probably strong. But look, anytime you take a number through 6, 6.5, and 7 up to 7.5, that's a strong indication. That said, I think it's a bit of an overreaction. Michigan didn't show much last week, still won the game by 20. The thought that Michigan has is look, generally, if they can you get to 16, 20 points or more, they're going to beat you because they just don't give any points up. They're significantly a better defense here. And they're going to struggle, I think, maybe with some of the playmakers that Texas have. But if you're going to give me Michigan at home and a full touchdown and a hook, I'm going to buy in. Will I bet this? Probably not. But you're asking me my opinion. I'll
Yeah.
lean Michigan here. I think I think if you're going to play Michigan, you could even maybe wait. I don't think it's going to go down. It's only going to go up here.
Speaking of overreactions, and we'll see we'll learn more about teams this week. But NC State kind of fooled around with Western Carolina last Thursday. The score was the game was a lot closer than the final score indicated. Now they have a real test against Tennessee and their offense and their stud quarterback. And it feels like to me, and you can correct me as you do often, Jeff, but that the entire world's going to be on the Volunteers this week, which kind of makes me want to go against the grain and say NC State's going to play a lot better this week. The game will be in Charlotte. There'll probably be a lot of orange there in Charlotte, I would imagine. What's your take on the game Saturday night, at NC State and Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean this number's up to 10,
Whoa.
which is pretty crazy. I mean there is a lot of money coming in on Tennessee, and it's both sharp and public money.
Yeah.
Um, when you get to 10, I think we're talking about a little different number here. At 7.5, I thought it was a good bet with Tennessee. But 10, now you're starting to creep up to where this becomes unbettable. I kind of had it as a 10-point game. I thought 7.5, 8 was probably a pretty strong number. I was concerned with NC State. Look, at the end of the day, I think they have bigger defensive issues than maybe I thought. Cole Gonzalez, Western Carolina, is a good quarterback. It's one of the better quarterbacks in the FCS. He kind of did what he wanted to do against that defense. They had 361 yards, 6 yards of play, which for an FCS team against NC State, that's pretty good. And again, Clip, if not for a huge fourth quarter, NC State would have probably lost that game. Look, their offense is going to move the ball. I kind of look at this game and say to myself, maybe just bet the over. I mean, for NC State to stay in this game, they're going to have to probably get mid to high 20s. And I think Tennessee will get into the 30s. That offense is legit for Tennessee. We know it is. We know their defense isn't that great. I like Tennessee at 7.5, where like if I win by 10, it's a win. Now it's a push and it could lose because this is probably going to keep going up. This number's jumped up from a total standpoint too. I think the over has some value. I kind of had this at like 38-28, 41-27, something like that.
We'll dive more into college football with Jeff Nadu coming up Saturday on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. But, Jeff, any college games in particular you've highlighted before we move on to the NFL?
Yeah, I like Army plus 3.5 against Florida Atlantic. For all that Florida Atlantic did last week, Clip, they still lost. They still barely moved the ball.
Yeah,
they still had a lot of
ugly game.
Yeah, still had a lot of mistakes. And you're right. You look at Michigan State, they didn't exactly play well. They had a lot of dumb penalties, stupid mistakes, and they still won the game, at the end of the day. Now you got to go back home. So you have to travel and go back home. And you get an Army team coming in. Clip, better than me. You don't want to face the triple option on week 2, especially off a game that you lost against a Big Ten opponent. This is a very tough scheduling spot. Army had no issue with Lehigh in week 1. We know what they're going to do. They're going to run. This is a very tough offense to prepare for if you're FAU. I'm not really sure why FAU's laying 3.5 points. I don't give 3 points to that home atmosphere. I think Army's prepared, ready to go. I think if anything, they hang in this game. I think they likely win, though. I like Army a little bit plus 3.5.
And I like your point too, Jeff. If say FAU opened up with Lehigh last week, they're probably practicing all week for the option week 2. Instead, they've got a headliner in East Lansing. Hey, if we win this game, we're going to be group of 5 playoff. We've got an edge on some teams. So
exactly.
Yeah, I like your point there. All right, more college football talk with Nadu coming up Saturday. Let's talk some NFL. Jeff, when we go to college basketball season, early in the year, you get in the weeds. You like the kind of the smaller schools and everything, and you tend to kind of wait around for conference play for the bigger names. Well, there are no weeds in the NFL. Everybody's a big name. So I guess my question is, how do you handle it early in the year? Do you wait and see what teams are? Can you find an edge in the NFL week 1? How do you play it, generally speaking?
I think generally I'm going to just, like I do with the NFL. The NFL's, as opposed to college football or college basketball, the NFL is more about the number. I don't then, generally care as much about the players and the groups themselves. The numbers, I think, tell you all you need to know about these games. And I'm using what the public's going to do and fading that. That said, I'm looking at a lot of underdogs. And early in the season, I'm betting underdogs. Most of the games that I like this week are underdogs, including tonight. I think Baltimore is a very strong wager. There's a reason this came down from 4 to 3.5 and now to 3. That is a big move down. I still think at 3, there's a little meat on the bone here. I think probably in all likelihood, this could fall 3. This could be 24-21 Chiefs. But I think the Ravens should be a little bit more respected here. First of all, Clip, this is a revenge game. This is a huge revenge game. Chiefs beat the Ravens last year late in the season, as we know, in the AFC title game. The Ravens got better, right? They added Derrick Henry, who's a significant upgrade over what they've had on the number 1 rushing offense in the league. putting him in that offense is kind of unfair with Lamar and with that offensive line. I like Zay Flowers a lot. I like Mark Andrews. That's a really dynamic offense, which I don't need to tell anybody. You look at on defense, they added Nate Wiggins, one of the best corners in the draft, for some real depth in the secondary. They have probably the best defense in the league. They have the best kicker in the league. They're a team that I picked to win the Super Bowl. I think they're the best team in the NFL. And I think they go in with a real chip on their shoulder. And I think they beat the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs. I love Mahomes. But if you're going to give me 3, we're already seeing 2.5 popping up. If you're going to give me 3, I'll lean on the Ravens.
How about your Birds Friday night, Jeff? It's if you follow kind of narratives out there, it's two teams going in different directions. Just look what they did at the end of last season. The Eagles, halfway through, looked like one of the best teams in the league and had a tailspin. The Packers hit their groove late, won a playoff game, and nearly, went on and did even bigger things. So we kind of remember that going into week 1 this year. Neutral site. I hate games that aren't on our soil in a home NFL stadium. But any thoughts on your Birds tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things that I'm concerned about here. Obviously, one of which is the NFL. I mean, do we trust them to have like a playable surface in this game? Like, do we trust them to do anything right? I mean, throw in the fact that this is going to London's 5 hours. This is a 10-hour flight. I've seen a lot of, again, I follow the Eagles pretty hard. From a lot of standpoints, neither of these teams really want to be at this game. Throw in the fact that it's a weird day. It's throw off your body a little bit. Do you get the right food? Do you get the right rest? It's just a very tough game to bet. I think if you're a coach of either of these teams, the goal is just get out of there with a win. The sharp money's all over the Eagles, right? 70% of the bets are on Green Bay, but 65% of the actual money is on the Eagles, which, signifies that the Eagles are the play. It won't be a game I wager on. I don't want unknown entities. And the NFL's never done this. This is a very tough thing to do. I don't understand it. I'd love to know, Clip, and I'm sure we'll never quite find out. Of all the people that go to this game, how many of them are native Brazilians? Right? Does Brazil, like the natives, do they actually care about this?
Right.
Like, I'm curious. I'd love to know how many transplants there are and how many actual Brazilians are, because I'm going to guess it's not many.
All right. Jeff Nadu joining us. Says he likes a few dogs, Baltimore being one of those, and talked about Army, college. Any? Can you give us another NFL dog for Sunday, Jeff? Anybody else you got your eye on?
Yeah, I like Arizona plus 6.5 against the Bills. I would love to see a 7 pop up on this game. I'll be in. You look at a couple of things here, Clip. Going east to west or west to east, not difficult in the first game, right? I think that's a good scheduling quirk for Arizona here. And I've been a Kyler Murray guy. When you look at as a gambler, Kyler Murray's been a very good underdog in his career. A lot of people don't know that he, or don't believe he's capable of running a team. Well, now he's got Marvin Harrison, right? So you're getting a young quarterback, a high-level player. It's kind of what I want. I like Trey McBride. I like James Conner. I like this offense. What are the Bills, right? I mean, Josh Allen, you give him a couple of good receivers, then you take them away. That receiver core has Mac Hollins, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and a rookie, Keon Coleman. Mac Hollins is a journeyman. Curtis Samuel is a journeyman. And Khalil Shakir is a second-year player at a Boise State. What the hell do you have there on offense? I think they're a decent dog back this year in the Cardinals. I think they're going to hang in a lot of games. Again, I don't know what Buffalo is on offense. Arizona is a backable team. They've covered 6 of 10 as an underdog. Give me the Cardinals.
Jeff Nadu joining us. Jeff, what is your ideal Sunday? Are you at the local bar? Are you watching Red Zone? Are you Sunday Ticket? What's your football watching Sunday like?
I have a show that I do in the morning with Jason Brown and Sean Salisbury. We do that, and then I just kind of hang out. I mean, I have a TV in my office here. I mean, I obviously have an iPad for maybe a game that I want to watch in general, but I'm a Sunday Red Zone kind of guy. But my day doesn't change much. I'm very routine based, Clip, so I live my life the same. Generally, I work out at the same times. I do everything I have to do at the same times. But Sunday's great because you have something going on. You have plenty of wagering. But no, I go out at night, Friday and Saturday. So I'm kind of by that point played out with
The
that. So
Stellas. We know about the
yeah,
Stellas.
I've actually discovered a new beer that I like that I've been drinking more of. So I'm kind of in my town. It's a very Spanish area, so I developed a taste for a Dominican beer that I like. So I've been
Okay.
drinking that. But yeah, just a football guy. Watch the games, and there are plenty of games you don't want to watch. I'll throw one thing out, Clip. I'm going to throw out a money line winner today.
All right.
For you. The Panthers are going to beat the Saints.
Oh, wow.
I
I know a lot of
I
folks
don't think
around
the
here are going to
Saints.
like that.
Yeah, I don't think the Saints are very good. I think the
Okay.
Panthers are not great either, but I don't think they should be a 4-point favorite.
I'm still mind blown by Jeff Nadu, Sean Salisbury, Jason Brown. Do y'all do anything other than argue on that show? I mean, that is what an eclectic mix of people to get together to talk football.
Yeah, Sean is a guy who, I generally think of guys like his age as kind of like cringy and like annoying when they try to be cool. But Sean Salisbury at 61 is about as hip as it gets. I don't know if he's with like a younger woman or something, but he's just
I
a
haven't
hip
seen him
guy.
in a while, man. I'm glad you're doing stuff with him. That's
No, he's
awesome.
he's a really good football guy. Like just
Yeah.
knows a ton about the position. JB's obviously a coach, knows a ton about the position, and I kind of just offer the gambling side of
Yeah.
things. It's a good show. I enjoy it.
All right, I'm gonna look that up. So that's Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday at I think we usually do 11. So
Okay. All right. Good deal. Nadu, thanks for joining us, man. We'll try to track you down Saturday and talk more college football with you on our pregame.
I'll be here. Thanks, Clip.